What name would you prefer to go by?
You can, well, Siles is my surname, so you can call me Jade because that's my name.
Jade? Okay, sounds good.
So,
And you recently got out of human trafficking?
yeah, well, 2 years ago. But I mean, I haven't like, I mean, I spent like 8 years locked up in a room and 2 more years locked up in my house because I still don't have the freedom that a normal person has because the government is trying to protect me still. So yeah.
You were locked in your house?
I mean, not luck that I can go out. I mean, I can go out if I want, but for protection, I don't like. I don't know. I don't just go shopping alone or I travel alone or stuff.
Mm. So, how are you? Like, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I feel great. I mean, last year was a bit hard because I just lost my nephew and he was a baby, so it was a hard time. I was just 2020, 22 and 23 being like, when you get out of that situation, you're like, what happened to me, right? Like you don't even know what
Mhm.
you can. It's not that you can get used to your normal life now. Like you still feel like if you were there. So I believe that until this year that and maybe from October to right now, I feel a bit better now. Like I feel, a bit better.
That's good. Um, and also, I just want to emphasize too, if there's any sort of question or topic that you'd rather not speak on, that's completely fine. You could I completely understand. Could you like, kind of walk through like how did it start? Like how did you get like what was leading up to it up until you escaping?
Okay, well, how it started, like from very beginning.
Hmm.
Okay, well, my dad was a businessman, and he always taught me about having my own business and everything. So when I was 18, I started having my own business. I started thinking about the idea, and that was when I was almost 19 that I finally made it. I put my whole company there. It was, at first it was just me, but it kind of, make it grow up more and more. So that's when I started having problems with taxes and, money. And I didn't, there was actually a lot of money coming here, coming in business. So I was like, I don't know what to do. I was a bit worried. And then I had this problem that I was very naive, and I used to tell everybody my goals and my dreams and how happy I was. I had a really beautiful life, and I woke up every day happy and telling my friends that, oh my gosh, I did this or I did that. I did, like, I don't know, I was just happy. And one of them told me, I know a lawyer that can help you out. Do you want the contact? And I say, yeah, of course. So she gave me the contact, and she took me there to the office, and I just told them, look, this is my problem, and they were like, I first met my lawyer. He was a man. He was maybe in the 40s, and he looked very professional, like very, that he looked fancy. Where I don't know how to say, but kind of like a
Hmm.
like a businessman. And I was just 19 years old, and I was like, wow, right? Because like you just meet someone like he looks so, I don't know, he looked like I had money. So he kind of from very beginning started acting like a dad, like my father, like, oh, let me help you, and he used to call me my child, things like that. And the problem here is that they kind of he did an interview with me like, what is your family? Well, I mean, do you have a dad? And I was just asking, like if you ask me that question, I will answer you. I never thought about anything weird about it. So that's when after say that he started acting in a way. I told him, no, my dad passed away years ago, and he was, oh, okay. And then he started acting like my dad. Okay, and then he introduced me to another lawyer, an accountant lawyer, and she started acting like my mother. They were like my mom and dad right there. So they were, I was a bit confused about the relationship we had because they always been so protective to me, and they always like, let me give you an advice, and they were extremely sweet. And they all both looked like they have money, and then I had money too because I was making money. The problem is that I was very young, so I did not look like I mean, I just look like a normal teen, you know what I'm saying? But I was actually running a business and everything. They were like, let me help you with this because you're very young. That's how they took control of the money, because they say, you just focus on work, where you do your job, and we focus on, the money, taxes, and everything. So I say, okay, yeah. And so over, 2 years, uh, everything was great. We did have a great relationship. We had a lot of meetings. I mean, I felt like home with them. They were amazing. They were, but they used to tell me things like, eventually they introduced me to more people and more people. And they were like, maybe it was like night, I wanted to go out, and they were like, "Are you gonna go out like that, just like that? It's kind of dangerous. Why you don't let him, another guy, take care of that? I mean, he's gonna be with you, And so, and I mean, I don't even realize, but I have two assistants and a bodyguard, and I was with a bodyguard everywhere. My family knew my bodyguard, and he was big, and he was, and I was like, why do I need a bodyguard? And they were like, well, because you have money and you're very young, you can get kidnapped, things like that. And I, promise that I was so naive. I used to believe everything, and I was like, well, maybe it's true. Like maybe, what if, right? So I felt like I never, they never give me anything to feel that they were, evil people. They were just my friends, and they
Mhm.
give me, a bodyguard. Why would I doubt? That's how it started. That, like I say, in 2 years, they took control of the money. They put me two rules, and they say, look, we can make this business grow and grow. You make more money, but you have to promise that you're gonna follow two rules. That's it. That's it. And I was like, okay. And they say you cannot tell about anybody. You can tell anybody about us. Like, just if someone asks, you say lawyer, and that's it. But you're not gonna tell him everything we do, and because it's kind of like a professional secret, stuff like that. That's what they say. And then they say, and you cannot have a boyfriend. That's it. Can't have a boyfriend. Not yet. And I was like, I never had a boyfriend in my life. I was 20, 21, and I mean, not my first kiss was with my bodyguard. And I told him that if he, like, I wanted to learn how to kiss in case the real one comes. And then
Mhm.
that was my first kiss. So I never had it in like I did not have a normal life, because I was not like a normal teenager. I was more into my own things. I come from a very religious family, so I was not like a party girl or anything. I was just my Bible there. That's it.
Mhm.
So I never had the chance like to have a boyfriend or anything. And I was like, okay, I'm 21, but like how, like I just wanna, day, maybe just wanna have a day. And they were like, no, you cannot do that. Can you follow these rules? And I was like, okay, I can follow the rules. So that's how everything started until I broke one of the rules.
That rule being the having a boyfriend.
Yeah, that's the one that I at first I had a friend. He was from UK, and I told him, look, I just feel like I'm gonna be single forever. Like, I mean, I was like feeling lonely, and I saw other girls, just having a boyfriend. I couldn't. So he said, "Well, shoot, just don't love Tinder. Well, I mean, well, who's gonna know?" And I was like, "All right." So I did it, and I started texting with a guy, and he was like, "I want to meet you," and I was like, "Nah," because I knew. But he started saying, "Yeah, please, please," and I was like, "Okay, maybe just one time, right?" So we had a date, and I thought, well, probably no. I mean, no one's gonna find out, and he probably won't, just disappear. Probably will just go, right? Well, he didn't. I mean, he started more and more and more when he see me. Like, he was very interested. So I was like, okay. I mean, I had this mixed feeling, because I knew. I mean, I was doing things that I shouldn't supposed to do, but I wanted to. How, like, I was just so young, and I wanted to experience
Mhm.
things. So I did that for around a month till they find out.
How did they find out?
They saw me. They saw me. I mean, they saw me after I had to go to the hospital because I had a medical business, medical tourism business. So I had to be in hospital all the time. So they saw me like one day, I don't even know how, but they saw me um, with this guy. So that's how they find out.
What did they had to respond to that?
Uh, it's kind of funny because the lawyer, the female, I mean the woman there,
Mm-hmm.
had like a relationship with the lawyer. Like the guy was like a good cop and bad cop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they have this thing that she was like on my side saying no, I support her, and he was like no, you can't do that. We had an agreement. So of course I tried to be more close to her. She was on my side. So
Mm-hmm.
she told me, I'm going to help you out because I want you to have a relationship with this guy, or maybe, just stay, but I want you to be happy. So I thought everything was okay, right? But they did a lot of things during those months. And I mean, a lot of things to ruin the relationship. But a lot of things that, like they start like let's say I have a date. So for whatever reason, they will lock me and say that, oh, I'm sorry, we have to do some things, some legal things here, and I can find the key, things like that. And I couldn't see the guy, and I couldn't tell him the truth because I mean, I couldn't tell anybody but them. So I had to lie, to cover what I was really doing. And they locked me. That's when they started locking me up, like all the time for I know it sounds stupid, but I didn't know I was being trafficked. I thought like they were like, why they are doing this to me? You know, and they did a lot of things. Like I one day I was in my apartment and I had a day with this guy. So I told him come to my apartment, and they called me and said, can you come here outside? So I went out, and when I came back to the apartment because they had the key, all my apartment was full of poop, everything, like everything, like walls. Like I don't even know how they made that. Like I don't know, but I was like, oh my gosh, right? Like how do I explain this? Like there's
Mm-hmm.
so many things that you cannot explain because how do I call this guy and tell him that there's a lot of poop in my apartment everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like so again, I have to lie again and say, I can. Why I can, I was always giving, some weird answers saying, I have to clean that, and things like that. They will sometimes they will tell me things like, can you go and can you come to the office and sign this contract? So I will go there, and they will put me in a car and took me, like I don't know, 60 mile away or something like that. Like, and I was like, where are we going? Like, oh, it's for your own benefit. So that's what they did over and over and over again.
Mm. Now, when you say they locked you up, was it like they had a key to where you lived, like an apartment or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, they locked me in three places. My own apartment, like they
Mm-hmm.
will just take my the key, and they will put someone there outside, couldn't go on. Or they will lock me in their office. So I did not have the key. I didn't have any way to go. Or they would lock me in the apartment they had. Like it was one of their apartments, and they
Mm-hmm.
will just lock me there. So that was, later they locked me in other places, but that was like at first that was the place that they locked.
How long would they leave you locked in these places?
Just about, I mean, just the near, I mean, they did it just so I could go out and date this person. At
Mm-hmm.
first, like a few hours, maybe
Mm-hmm.
a day. They locked me, and for my birthday. I wanted to spend my birthday with this person.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, by then they were really mad. I saw them being aggressive in September, my birthday in September. So I remember they put me in a car. They took me into another city, and they locked me in an apartment, and they said you can go out. So they locked me from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m.
3 p.m. to
Yeah.
11.
hmm Yeah. So the guy called me and said, "Where are you?" And like, working, right? And he was like, "You working on your birthday? You say that we're gonna have something, like, And he had all, he I don't know. I couldn't even say anything. Like The problem is that you have to cover what they do, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. You feel like a lot of confusion. It's you feel confused and you feel like um it's like it's a game, and you don't understand what's going on because and if you tell anybody, look, my lawyer just locked me out, like they would say like, what, like who's,
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, they were not going to believe me, so it was like a hard time for me because I would feel very lonely, and I just couldn't understand anything.
Mm-hmm. Did the guy ever found out down the line what had really been going on?
He was just about, he saw a lot of things, a lot of signs. He always said there's something wrong with you, but I don't know what it is. So
Mm-hmm.
I got pregnant of him, of course, back in September 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like absolutely angry that when that happened, they just snapped and they told me, look, you have to stop contacting this man. And that's when they stole all my money. They just dissolved the whole business, and they told me, if you don't stop contacting him, we're gonna kill him. So what you gonna do? So I tried my best to not do it, but the problem is that he was telling me all the time about the pregnancy and all that. So I didn't know what to do because he wouldn't go. He was just not going to leave me, right? He was there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a long story, but I have to fake an abortion. So because they told me to do that too. So
Mm-hmm.
it was hard. Everything was a really uh, hard moment. But yeah, they told me if you don't stop talking to him, you're gonna kill him. So I did my best to protect him. I did everything I could to protect him. I even paid money so they would leave him alone. But he never find out because I never told him. In January 2016, I mean, we stopped talking completely, like zero contact, and that's it.
Now, was this around the time where where the lawyers started to get more aggressive and more
Yeah,
controlling?
October, October. I actually didn't tell this guy I was pregnant till October. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but I kind of I knew it. Like I just knew I was pregnant, right? Like maybe like 50 days or 20 days before I told him, I really knew I was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And they told me they find out, and they told me I don't know how they find out about things. I believe that they had access to my phone in some way. I don't know, but they knew everything. They knew it. Like I did not tell them anything, but they knew it. So and they were like, look, in case you haven't not understand, they say we're gonna take all your money. We're gonna take everything you have, and you're gonna work for us forever till you die. And if you tell anybody about us, you die, and the person you tell is gonna die too. If you continue talking with this man, he's going to die too. If you try to escape, you're gonna die. Your family's gonna die. So they would just told me, and they say, don't try to play with us. Like there's no way to escape. They were very careful too. Like I mean, it was they were right. So that's when everything started in October, and I spent 2 months trying to convince this man that I was not pregnant, but I was. But I was trying my best because they told me we have to be sure that he really believes that you're not pregnant. Because in that way he could probably you just leave, right? Like that's what they wanted. The only person in that moment that I had to protect me or to help me in some way, it was him. That's why they hate it a lot. They feel a lot of hate towards him because everything started because I started dating him. So I don't know what would have happened if I never dated this man. Like I don't know because we were doing pretty good before that.
And this was during October of 2015, was it?
Yeah, this happened, Victoria.
So how the next months or years look after that?
Horrible. They were getting more violent every month, and I mean violent in extreme ways. They did horrible things to me. I was pregnant. They beat me when I was pregnant. They hang me. They did a lot of horrible things. I was very skinny, very underweight because they only give me dog food to humiliate me. So I was only eating dog food every day. That what
Dog
they give
food?
me. Yeah. So they used to have this eat in front of me, you know, delicious food like whatever pizza, hamburger, whatever you want. And I was really hungry, and I had pregnancy craves, and all that, and they were just giving me dog food, you know, to humiliate me. So they give me dog food in the morning, dog food at night, only dog food, and I was extremely underweight, extremely skinny. I was bleeding, and I was having a horrible pregnancy because I was not eating right. Sometimes I don't even have dog food, Sometimes it was just nothing, and they were every day. I was on the trail like, we're gonna kill your family, we're gonna kill everybody. They told me we're gonna kill this man, and if you don't pay us every week money, and they were like, you have to give us $1,000 every week. If you don't have the $1,000 at the end of the week, he's dead. So they said you're gonna come, you're going to coming, like streaming, adult sites. So they say you
You
have
have to do what again?
to coming streaming in adult sites,
Oh, like
adult industry.
Camgirl sites?
Yeah, be a cobbler. So they told me, like, actually they told me to do that before that. Before even they got violent, they used to say things like, "You don't have to get naked. You don't have to do any of that. But we can try to, help you get more money." And I was like, "I don't want to do this. But wait, maybe you can help other girls." And I was like, "I don't want to do that either." So they were like, "Okay, maybe you just go there and just smile." And I was like, okay, I can do that. I never thought it was something bad because I thought like, I'm not gonna get naked or I'm gonna do anything like that.
Hmm.
So over the 2 years that I met them, I did come, but I never got naked on that time. I was just, I was not even interested in making money. I was just there because they told me, and I was like, I don't know. I sometimes I know that we're not supposed to blame victims. Oh, and I would never blame a victim, but sometimes I do blame myself a bit because I mean, like, why the hell did I do that? Like, I don't know. I cannot explain myself. The problem is that they have this authority, and like, I, I don't know. They mean a lot to me, and they say something, I will do it because I thought they were like some kind of like my dad. It's true. Like they were like, have this figure. So I started coming, uh, but not getting naked or anything like that. So when after they told me, look, if you don't give us $1,000 every week, uh, then we're gonna kill this man or your mother, whatever. I started coming, and I was coming around 17 hours a day to make the goal every week. Sometimes I remember I spent one time 53 hours stopping. That means that more than 2 days, no eating, no nothing, just coming and coming and coming because I was desperate to make the money because it was Sunday already. So I was just like this doing this cabato that people Camgirl say. I was and that's how I spent my whole pregnancy coming to pay money to them so they did not kill everybody. So I was not eating. I was just coming, and I was not asleep. I mean, they every time that I tried to sleep, they used to wake me up with water. They throw me water on me. They will do a lot of things, and I start having health issues then because it was too much. The stress and the amount of things that they did to me was too much, and I was pregnant. The problem that I was pregnant, so it was a horrible time.
Did they still have you work at the business that you were originally doing too, or is it
No,
just the camp?
no, no. They took all the money and they sold everything, and they told me you're gonna start coming now. That's what and they told me actually, it's funny thing because they say to me, funny enough, they say to me like, you're lucky that we're not gonna prostitute you because we know that you have a lot of people that know you, and a lot of people know that you had money before. So if they see you in the street, they will probably think what's wrong with her, will try to help you. So that's the reason why you're not gonna be a prostitute. That's why you're not because they say in another situation you would probably be one. So, but they told me, a few years later, they told me, we're gonna do it. You have to be this, and you have to start prostituting yourself. And I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'd rather die. And they say, well, if you don't do that, then you have to make more money. You have to make for a boy getting prostituted, you have to make around $20,000 a month coming, or you will end up being prostitute. So I was coming, like I come a lot. Like I was every hour and hour and hour, because I really did not want to any man touch me. So,
Hmm.
and I did it. I did make a lot of money coming. It was all for them, of course.
So it never escalated beyond the camming.
No, they tried. They locked me with a man. The first time they locked me with a man, that was for teach me a lesson to get raped. But the man decided to not do it. I was 6 months pregnant, and one of the traffickers locked me. She told me that I was starving. I was so hungry. She told me, "You can come here and eat something." So I went there. I thought she was good. Like, I mean, I know she was bad, but I thought she had a little compassion.
Hmm.
And it was all a lie. She locked me in a room, and when a moment I found out I was a naked man right there, and I told him, please do not do this. Like, I'm pregnant. Like, you're gonna kill my babies if you do that. So I'm just, I was like extremely underway. I'm pretty sure that anything like that will happen, and that was it. So he's, I believe he was like, I don't know what the hell did they say to him, but he was like very confused, and he said, "Are you not a prostitute?" And I was like, "No," and they were like, he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." He said, "I'm sorry," and he gave me the money. I did not ask any money, but he gave me some, he gave me like $40. And I was like, he said we should stay here for a while. So we spent like there, like, sitting and until maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes or like that. And then he put his clothes on, and he said, thank you. And I gave him the money to her, and she said, good job. But I never did anything. I mean, I'm happy that the man had a little,
Yeah.
compassion. And then they did it again, like a month later. I don't know, after like a year later. Sorry, uh, they locked me with another man, but this man had issues, like maybe he had a problem, like he couldn't properly understand. He had
Mental.
something, uh-huh, not like aggressive, but something like, he was not, he had something, I don't know what he
Hmm.
had. So it was kind of hard. He told me, can you help me with maths? I'm good. Sometimes, I used to help people before, when they wanted to start something. So I was like, I feel him, and he was like a huge guy, but he looked so, I don't know how
Like,
to say it, like a big guy, but he was not normal.
what do you
Like
mean? You said you'd help. What would you?
before they knew that before, like before getting trafficked, before anything, I used to help people to study things, like, let's say they need help in, I don't know, some people that have not college or anything, so I was
Okay.
trying
Okay.
to help them, yeah, right?
Okay.
So this guy, I knew he had problems. He was not a
Hmm.
normal person, right? And he was a huge guy, maybe, I don't know, 2 meters or something like that. And but he looked like a baby, because he had things, right? So I was like, okay, I can do that. And they told me, if you help him, uh, you're not gonna work today. And I was like, okay, yeah, I do whatever, so I don't come,
Hmm.
because I used to hate coming. I will my heart. There's nothing I hate more than coming. So I was there, and when I heard, like, and I was like, oh my gosh, why? Because I mean I could. The problem with is that every time that I heard that the key, I knew something wrong was gonna happen. I mean, they locked me out many times. So when I was in the house with him, right, I heard it, and I was like, I was like, oh my gosh, something bad is gonna happen to me. So this man was huge, and he started getting naked. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, what, you know I mean, there's no way I can negotiate with this guy. Like, he's not gonna get it, right? So I start telling him, please, please don't do this, please. And he was like, uh, this, I can't say names, but this, he say like, look, we have to do it because I already paid. And I was like, I was like, I mean, it's kind of weird because he looked so innocent, and suddenly he was not. I don't know how to explain this. And he said, well, I told him, look, you please don't do this. Please don't do it. Now I started begging him. And then he said, okay, if you let me lick your feet, then I won't do it. So I have to agree with this man,
If he lets you do what? Sorry.
lick my feet.
Okay.
So he started doing that. It was the most disgusting thing that I felt disgusting. I don't know how to explain. And he did it, and then he told me, I'm gonna take you back to where you are, to the house, my home, my the trafficker house. So he took me there and he gave me $10. And I was like, what are those $10? That's why they told me you charge. That was kind of like humiliation thing because I know he paid more, but he gave me $10 to. Because they told her I was charging $10. It was all a lie. It was, and then after that, um, it was the second time that they finally they tried to lock me and do that, but that never happened. They actually never got you know I wasn't abused, but not a sexual abuse. I don't know if I explain myself. So that girl, the girl that locked me, she was selling everyone, and because I was trafficked, but in front of the whole world. I always say this: people saw me. I was not locked up, and just for years, and you will know. I was allowed sometimes to go out and
Mhm.
with them, of course, and they used to tell me you have to take pictures of where you are. You have to always answer where you are, because if they will just lock me and they would, my family was gonna say, "Where are you?" My people used to
Mhm.
know me before, so they were like, "I believe that you're not gonna let you like we're not gonna put you like apart and you're not gonna see everyone. No, that's not gonna happen. You're gonna see your family. You can see your family as long as you don't say a thing. You can look like you have a normal life, but you cannot talk. That was at first. Then later, eventually, they did lock me up like completely. But at first, they did do that. So it was hard because I remember I was in that it was a small town, and there were people like every time that people saw me, like they were looking at me like that, and I was like, why people looking at me like that? And then
Could you
someone
repeat that?
told me
Sorry.
that I say that when it was in a small town where this all
Mhm.
this thing happened, and I remember I was going out on the street there and doing my things, and of course my traffickers were around, but I was doing my things, and I heard people whisper things and looking at me weird, and I was like, why? Until someone told me, well, the name of the girl who looked me up, everybody saying that you're a prostitute, and I was like, I'm not a prostitute, you know what I'm saying? That was one of the things that hurt me most because they ruined my reputation. It was
Mhm.
it was pretty horrible because I never did that, never in my life. And people started to they were well known in that city more than me because I was not from there, so people believed it more than me. People used to be their friends, so they were like, look at if they say I was prostitute, people believed them. Nobody will try to help me in any way because they will put me down in front of everyone, right? So I was very lonely. I had no friends. People were rude to me. They say a lot of things about me. So it was. I tried to find people who maybe I was trying to find help, but I couldn't. Like there was nobody. Like first, I did not have. I was not allowed to have friendships, or with friends, or I was allowed to say, let's say, I'll go to the store and say, hey, how much this cost? Okay, thank you. That's it,
Mhm.
right? But not like, oh hey, how are you? And then, I was not allowed to do that. Only with my traffickers, friend of my traffickers, people who they trust. So it was the problem with my family too was that they saw me, walking the street. They saw me like having a normal life, and but I was not having a normal life. And the problem is that I all my whole family is there. Like I only have two brothers and my mom, and that's it. That's the only family I have. So, and they're married and they're in other cities. So I was very lonely. That's one of the reasons I believe my traffickers uh, saw. Like they saw that I was, the perfect victim. I was young, naive. I had money, and I was very lonely. And that's why they actually did all that. That I could go out and people were not helping and all that. A lot of people saw many signs. Like the problem is that people don't know to recognize victims. They don't know. But I had so many signs, so many um, I was extremely underweight, pregnant. No one told me what's wrong with you. I used to cry on the streets, and people were like, people just don't want to, I believe that many people have seen others crying, but they don't want to go there and say, hey, So, and sometimes it's actually a good thing because I just posted a comment in one of, Instagram posts saying that you should not ask victims, are you okay? Because a woman did that to me and I got beat on my, like, my trafficker beat me so hard. And because he thought I was trying to find help, right? So I believe that that was
Mm-hmm.
a good thing that no one asked me that. But the problem is that, you know, you do want people ask you that, but I mean, even if the people ask you that, what they're gonna do? No one can say. Even if they will try, even if they knew I couldn't go because my family was there, and I was not willing to pay the price, losing my family for my freedom, because that was the price I had to pay if I escaped, you know. So it was hard. I was in front of the whole world, coming in front of everybody. I was being trafficked. I was, people saw me, and I was being trafficked, and it was a really tough moment for me.
Was the site that you camped on, was it a popular site for that community?
The campsite,
Yeah, it was like a popular campsite.
I was everywhere, all campsites. There is no one campsite that I was not in. I was everywhere, and I had different names over the years. And I used to have a lot of you know fans there. Let's put it that way. So I mean, a lot of people ask me, "Are you in a studio?" Or and I was always, "No, no. I mean, I'm doing this for my own will." But they were looking at me. Sometimes they were looking at me in the same room, and they had my dog there because they kill all my pets. And they have these, they had poison. Used to use poison or maybe a gun, and they were like that. Like I was coming here, and they were here, and they had a gun on my dog head there. They were like, "You're gonna make money today, or we're gonna shoot this dog." I was desperate. Sometimes I used to say, "I'm gonna give you a show, a whole hour show for $2 because I needed to make this $2 to save my dog." And I was desperate. I don't know how to say it, and I believe that many of those videos out there, still out there, and I was, full of this. I mean, I was begging people for money, and people didn't know. And I was like, I'm gonna make 2 hour show for $1, whatever. I just wanted to save my dog or whatever it was. And many times I couldn't. So it was hard. That's why I hate gambling. I hate it. Still do.
And you knew other people that were trafficked as well?
I knew, yeah, I know, yeah, but no, they never mix it. Like they were never put two victims or there together. They will I mean, they were not going to traffic every victim in the same way. Some they were going to be prostitutes. Other, I mean, they put me to do camming because they say that I was perfect for that. And I don't know why, but they said you're perfect for this, and you're gonna make more money than this and doing other things. So, but others were, just being prostitutes, or they did all types of human trafficking, all types.
How old did you think the other ones might have been around?
The other victims,
Hmm.
how old they were, or how many times they spent there.
Like, how old do you think they were? Like, do you think
They
they're
were
around your
young,
age?
young. I mean, I saw kids and I saw teens. So
Like
I
kids
saw
as young
kids.
as
I mean, sometimes they use kids for killing to make to they train kids to kill other people because kids don't go to jail. So they use kids for that, and normally they end up being traffickers too. They die in a very young age. They probably at 18 they're dead already. So they start at 6, 5, and they train them to kill people. If they are male, if he's a man, a boy, they will train to kill people. And I mean, sometimes they die at 13, 15, 17. That's it. That's the lifespan they have. They die at a very young age. And if it's a girl, they will train her to become a prostitute. That's what they do.
at like age
Or
7?
yeah, they will force them to watch pornography first, so they can know what it's a process. And it's not like I saw kidnapping all that, but I saw that sometimes they were friends of their parents, and people don't know that, but traffickers do that often. Like they will use their parents and as a shield. And I mean, the thing with traffickers is that they know about manipulation. They are so good at it that they will first gain the parents' trust. So people like pretend like maybe let me give you an example of how they do this. Let's say that there is a poor family there, and they need money for rent, they need money for food. It's suddenly they have, let's say they have 4 kids. They always find people who are poor, not always, but if they want to do this, traffic kids in this way, who are poor, and they'll like maybe they're not very educated. They maybe don't have high school. Like very humble people there. They don't know much about anything. They're very naive, like I used to be. So suddenly a man shows up there and say, "Oh, let me help you with this. Let me help you. Don't worry about this. I'm gonna pay you rent. I'm gonna pay you everything." And this man comes out like a savior for them. Pay the rent, give them food. So how a parent is gonna feel? He's gonna feel relief. He's gonna say, "Thank you so much. What can I do for you?" And then it will start gaining trust until they trust completely. uh, and that's when they do what they do. And they have to. There's two possible outcomes here. They will kidnap the kid, or they will slowly traffic the kid. And the kid is going to tell, "Look, this is going to happen to me." No one's going to believe him because he's the man who saved us, right? Like, he's the man who paid the rent and everything. So it's very sad to see a kid asking for help and no one believes the poor kid because they're blind. Saying, or sometimes they do kidnap the kid and they will take him to another place. But if they are boys, that's what they do. Their life. I mean, many of my traffickers were kids, like were those one of those kids. Start very young, and one of my traffickers was like 5 years older than me, and he was still young because I was 21, so he was 25, and he looked very young. He had this kind of baby face, and I told him, I asked him, how are you here, right? Why you're not studying? Why are you doing here? And he said, well, I started killing people at a very young age, and I couldn't go out. Now I have to be here. I can't go out. Because if they go out, they will. I mean, they will probably be. They're in the same situation. Me, the problem is that they have more freedom because now they are working with the traffickers, with the other traffickers. So he died. He died. You know, he's dead now because it's sad. I feel he did a lot of horrible things to me, but at the same time, it's sad that he was just a kid. You know, and they took it for that. He started killing at a very young age. It's quite sad.
What kept you hopeful during all of this?
Okay, you mean what gave me the strength to continue? That I saying?
Yeah, like what
What
made
what
you?
kept me going?
Yeah,
Well, there's two things that kept me going. One is just that I told him, can I read a book? Can you let me? Because I was not allowed to watch TV, or I used to I they would allow me to have a phone, but that phone wants only to take pictures and coming, right? Not just
Mm-hmm.
to Google whatever, So I was not allowed to do that. I was allowed to take pictures, having a Snapchat account, and all that, but always under a lot of control. So I told them, can you let me read something? And they were like, fine. And what you want to read? I want to read about the Holocaust and Jews and all of that, because I felt that people live a hell just like I was living, and they made it. So if they made it, I can do it too. So I read a lot of things about Nazi and all that, and they made me feel like survivors made me feel like I could have hope. Even though it looked impossible to go out, I knew that I had no chance to go out of that situation. Like I was not trafficked by just one trafficker; it was a mafia,
Mm-hmm.
trafficking network. So it was just not possible. But I used to read that, and the other thing that I used to read is just, of course, the Bible. I was not allowed to read Bible, but I told him, can you just let me read maybe one book of the Bible, just one book. They were like, fine, and that's when I read Psalms, and I used to read every day, and I try. I was not a religious person, but when you're in that situation, you had no choice. Like what you can do. You have to pray because you can no more choice. You can go to police. You can tell anybody. You can go out, like physically go out. You can negotiate with these people. What do you have? You have to pray. And I believe that many people, even if they're not believing anything in that situation, they will probably do it too. You got no more choice to do it. Like what you can do. So that's what I did, and that was what I used to every night before sleeping. I used to dream about having my freedom again. It was hard because I was not the same girl. I was completely another person. But I used to dream and imagine myself being free every day. And that kept me going. It was hard. Sometimes I wanted to die. Many times I wanted to die. But I was not allowed to suicide, for example. They told me if you kill yourself, you want to kill your family. So you know. So I was not even allowed to do that.
I think I know in the one video you had on Instagram, you had a bunch of injuries during this whole
Yeah, that
thing.
picture. Yeah, the blood, the one that I have blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that picture, they they did a lot of things. They broke all the 10 ribs, during the whole time. They just look at my job. They broke my nose. They did a permanent damage hair in my hair, my scalp. Of pulling my hair so much, and I had a lot of health issues because every day I was having a lot of slaps and a lot of things, right? So that day, they they wanted the day that I was, took the picture bleeding. They told me, you're gonna have to do a porn movie." And I was like, "I'm not doing a porn movie." And he was like, "Yeah, you do." And I was like, "With a man, yeah." I told you, no man's gonna touch me. I'd rather die. So they did not. I mean, in the moment I say that, they started hitting me like so bad, like they couldn't stop. They were like, I was already in the floor, and they were keep kicking me everywhere. I don't even know how I did not die, right? So I remember one of them. I kicked him, this far, right? And I went in there, start running. I ran to the bathroom, and he followed me. He opened the door. He grabbed me by the hair and dragged me to the living room again. He ripped off my clothes, and then we were completely naked. I was bleeding. Everything was a mess. And he told me, "I'm gonna put you there like that to the street so people see you naked." And I was like, "Please don't do that. Please don't humiliate me in this way. Just I don't want." So I remember I grabbed a chair. It was a really heavy chair, I was just grabbing that chair like all all that I could, right? And he was pulling my hair, so like brutal. I don't know how to say. And I thought I was gonna, he was gonna decapitate me. I don't know. He was just doing like so much force, and I was trying to hold it, so I was still like that. I was naked. I was bleeding. It was just like the most. I believe that was one of the most violent moments that I had, because the whole scene was like a horror movie, and I was like, this man is going to kill me. But I was trying to, you know, I don't know why, because I thought that if he would actually would do that, if he would have put me in the street there naked, people see me, right? Would probably would try to help me in some way. But the only thing that I thought about was like people who knew me before everything happening. They will see me in that situation. They will see me naked, bleeding, and I used to have another type of life. I used to have, my business, dealing with doctors, with people, and I was just like, this is too much for me. I'm not going to recover if this man will humiliate me in this way. So I was trying and holding, because I didn't want to be naked in the street. So one morning he stopped it and he told me, put this sweater on, the sweater that I had. So I put my sweater and he took me to the bathroom again and he told me, take a picture of you right now. He told me first, clean a bit of your hair. So me put water in your hair, and because my hair was just like that, right? Like a whole everything. I look at horrible, honestly. So he told me to just try to clean your hair, clean your face, and just put this thing and take a picture. Put the sweater on, take a picture. So I was still bleeding. That's why in the picture is like bleeding here. Because I tried to clean a bit, and he said take a picture. And I was like, why you have to take a picture? You're gonna put it on your phone as a like a wallpaper kind of thing. Like you're gonna see that picture every day, so you remember what's gonna happen to you if you don't listen, if you don't do what we do wanted to. So I took the picture because they told me to take a picture, and if not, it was impossible. They were not gonna allow me to have this picture. It was evidence. That was actually the idea. It's his idea. So I took a picture, and they told me, and they were doing this like some, not all the time, but every time that they punish me, they will take a picture, and that's why I have another picture of my ribs there that are like that or broken, and then they told me you should put it on Instagram, and I was like, do you want me to put this picture on Instagram? Yeah, because they used to control my social media, Facebook, Instagram, because I had to do that if I was gonna camp, right? So I was like, why do you want me to put this? The people's gonna know. They were like, no, they won't know. No one cares about you. Just put it and you will see. So I put a picture. That picture is still there in an old Instagram there. And I just broke my ribs with no gym. I just broke my ribs. And they told me, put it that way. People not wanna know anything. And I put that, and people were like, oh, for you. No one asked anything. And no one should. I don't blame people, right? I I don't. It's very hard because they know what they are doing. They knew that no one is gonna help me even if I post whatever, right? So the picture is still there. One of the old Instagram that they had control. I never deleted that Instagram because it was just like to keep it there, you know. And in those two pictures that I have of me bleeding, I saved it in an email. I had a secret email and a secret Snapchat account, so they didn't know that I had this email, and I was trying to send emails to that account and to the Snapchat account, and that's why I was able to record many of things that wasn't supposed to be there. Of course, there are many other pictures and many others, but I unfortunately don't have it because they delayed everything. You know what I'm saying?
And the the story you shared before, that's what all led up to the one picture with the mouth bleeding.
Yeah, that's what happened before. That's why I took that picture of me bleeding because I mean, he was beating me and he was doing a lot of things, but he told me put the sweater on, take the picture so you remember what's gonna happen to you if you don't um, if you don't do what we say. So that's why I took the picture there, and you can see that one of the pictures I'm looking something it was him. but yeah, it was like every picture has a story. I have a lot of pictures. Maybe I post them, maybe no, but there's always a story behind every picture. I was not allowed, like if I'm honest, to have a picture like that and just leave it there. They knew that it was dangerous, but I
Hmm.
had this email and I did.
And so you went to the doctor for your injuries too?
Sometimes when they were like really like like if it was really like I was really bad, like they took me to a doctor. They had doctors that were with them. So they actually my pregnancy, they saw, I mean, were doctors that were friends of them. They knew I was being trafficked and they did not help me. They didn't care, you know, like they're just as evil as them. They were their doctors. They normally traffickers have lawyers, doctors, police officers, cops that work with them. Otherwise, they couldn't do what they do, you know. So when you see a cop, um, laughing and being a friend with your trafficker, you lose all the faith you have there because you say, you know. And when you see a doctor that's supposed to, they know that you're being there. He knew that I was trafficked. He knew I was pregnant of twins, and he did not mind. He was like, you just can't believe it. People. It's actually it hurts more than traffickers. Traffickers are traffickers, right? But when you see people who are not traffickers helping traffickers, it's worse. You feel a lot of pain because you just why they don't do anything. You know,
Hmm.
like it's kind of hard. So when they were like beating me too much, probably like for example when they put me in my jaw like that and I had my jaw too like that, they took me to the doctor. So fix that, and they gave me around a week to recover because if I was in cam, people could see all the bruises. So they have to wait. Sometimes I put makeup on, but sometimes they have to wait.
And I know you mentioned before that when you did the cam, you were able to not have to, you could stay clothed. Was that the whole time, or did they end up forcing?
They say to me, I don't care whatever you do there if you make money.
Okay.
Okay, we care about money, not what you do there. So I try my best. I try my best to make the shows more into laughing. I used to tell jokes, and that was hard because I did not want to laugh, right? But
Hmm.
I was trying, and people who knew me there, and I still, some people, they say, I didn't know you were trafficked. I'm sorry, but they knew and they know that my shows were more into, telling stories, laughing, all that. I was trying everything I could to avoid doing
Hmm.
any sexual thing. The problem was when Sundays or Saturdays when the clock was ticking and someone was gonna die that day, in that week, or a dog was gonna die. And that's when I started doing everything, acting in mind. If I had to get naked, I get naked. But that was because so everything that must be, I know that what is there, and it's very unlikely that I can delayed all the things. I have tried everything I could to tell all the sites that delay my account. Some don't want to do it because they still make money of those videos, even after they know that I was trafficked. So if they see me there doing things, they have to know that I did that because they were like, I was desperate. I was trying to save something, a dog or a human person, like someone. I did not get naked because I was just, like I want to enjoy it. No, no, not even one time. I did that just out of desperation. I was desperate and I was trying to save, someone.
And I remember too from the Instagram video you had about you had got diagnosed with Addison's disease.
I had Addison disease. Yeah, I don't know if doctor said Addison disease is something that you just have, and it's for whatever reason you start having this thing. But I was a very healthy girl before. I started having Addison disease. I didn't know I had Addison disease until I went into a coma. I remember the day that happened to me. One of my traffickers told me, "Look, you're gonna go with your mom to the bank, and you're gonna because sometimes um, the money that campsite pays goes to the bank. I used to have two places that it's kind of like online wallets, but sometimes they were into the bank or sometimes to other like Western Union, depending on who's gonna send the money, who is sending money. Sometimes there were people who sending money outside of those sites. So I was there and I was with my mom. I could see my mom, and my mom knew about it too, but she couldn't say anything because she knew that my mom was under threat too. Like at first she didn't know, but then I had to tell her because maybe later I'll tell my story, but to not go to the other story, I will continue with this. So I went there and I remember they told me you have to give to call us at 1 p.m. Send picture where you are, you know. And I remember I saw my phone, it was at 2%, like he was gonna die soon, right? And I started having this like panic attack. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And then suddenly the phone turned off, and I was like, this is it. They're gonna kill me today. I just knew I was gonna die that day. And the problem is that I felt a lot of pain on my scalp because I couldn't even brush my hair. So much pain that I felt like it was like my whole hair was burning. I was having, I don't know, but it was like I don't know, but when I used to do my hair like that, I feel like something like soft. I don't know, maybe a doctor will say what's going on there, but it was just horrible. The pain was unbearable. Every day I used to live like that, and I just the idea of this man hold me like that, it's just like I'm gonna pass out. The pain is too much, and I started having getting anxious about it. And I told my mom, look, I don't feel good. I don't feel good. And then I started having seizure there, and I was just unconscious there, and there was a doctor there in the bank, and she started, taking all the signs and everything. My blood pressure was going down and down and down, and then he took um, blood test, sugar to see the levels of everything there, and I was just like under 10. Like I was just dying, right? I was just dying. And he said that she's gonna die. You have to call 911. So there's a whole thing happening there, and they took me to the hospital, and they find out that I was like having a adrenal crisis. So that's when they say, okay, you and they help me. I don't even know how because you know it's almost impossible that a doctor see you and say, oh, she's having an Madison crisis. Like it's almost like I don't even know how they saw that. They thought it was gonna be that. Probably the thing here is that they saved me that day, and they later they told me, look, you have Addison disease. We did blood tests and you have very low levels of cortisol. So they did for tests and everything. My trafficker actually did nothing there. They say, okay, just don't say a thing. So I did not say a thing to them, of course, in the hospital. And then I had to take pictures every day. After that day, they stopped being so aggressive because they knew that I was gonna die if they were continue, with the abuse like that. So it was kind of hard, but I'm glad after they was. I mean, they still did things, right? But not that much, not that often, So that's when I found out about that. But after I got my freedom back, I I was just gaining weight and I didn't know why. So I went to the doctor and the doctor told me, okay, we're gonna do again everything, blood tests and everything. And he found out that I was having normal cortisol levels. And he told me you don't have to take pictures anymore. And I was like, but you told me that this is never going to go away. There's no cure for this. And he said, yeah, but I don't know. It's a miracle. He said, you don't have to take pictures anymore. I believe that well maybe it was a miracle, yeah, but maybe it was just because I was not probably with cortisol is this hormone of stress. So I
Mm-hmm.
was in so much stress that this stopped working, and now when I was not under stress it started being more normal. That's what I believe. Maybe it was a miracle, but the thing here is that I don't have to take any pill right now.
It just naturally produces a good amount of
Now it's working, like, yeah. and I was not producing anything. So I don't know. Like, I mean, a doctor said, like, there is no explanation for this. It's impossible. But like I don't have to take pictures. I mean, I don't have to sorry take more pills.
Hmm.
I don't know. I can't explain.
And were these doctors that knew you were being
Okay, no,
trafficked?
no, 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 no. I mean, I have like because I went to a hospital. There's a record there that you have the disease and everything.
Hmm.
So after I got my freedom, I went there to get a second opinion to a new doctor, and he told me, well, you have Addison disease. He gave me, he did a blood test, and I still had Addison disease. That was like around 2021. Late 2021 because I got my freedom back in August of 21. So I would say it's December, something like that. I went to a doctor and he said, no, you still have Addison disease. I mean, everything is normal. And I was having problems because I was fainting all the time, even after I got my freedom. I was having health problems. But after a while, when I started getting weight and I didn't know why, and then I went to the doctor and I told him, look, you saw me like a year ago, like months ago, and you say I still have this, so I just want to know why I suddenly get gaining weight. And he was like, okay, let's just try and do everything. And that's when he find out everything.
Mm. And so, remember you mentioned before about your mother had knew. What was that
Mhm.
like with your mother or your siblings that through
Okay,
this?
well, my brothers knew my bodyguard. He saw my bodyguard, and he was like, okay, you have bodyguard. Why you have bodyguard? I was like, to take care of me. But they knew I had money too, so we're like, okay, you know what you do? Like I was 20. I was not like for them. I was just no longer a kid. So they were like, okay, do whatever you do with your life, right? They're close, but not to the point of asking people why are you doing this, right? They're not like that. So they say, okay, it's your life, do whatever you want. So they knew them, but when they start getting violent and you getting being like that, I remember I was 7 months pregnant. I couldn't come. I was tired. I couldn't. I just couldn't. It's impossible to be 17 hours there when you're pregnant. So I was not making the money. I make around $600 and I would need to make 1,000. So I told my mom, look, we're gonna die. And she said, who, what, why, right? Because she knew my traffickers, but they thought they were like, I had my issues with them, but nothing like they were being, that violent. So I told her the truth. They are going to kill you and they're gonna kill me. They're gonna kill everybody if we don't make that money. If we don't give them that money. And I remember that when I told him that my grandma just passed away that day. But that was a horrible day for my mom because my grandma just passed away, and I told him we're gonna die too. Like so, my mom called my brother and told him, look, we need money. And I was back in the day. We were broke because they took all the money, right? So my mom knew that I had lawyers that took all my money, but they didn't. She didn't know that they were so violent, so aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Like she knew some things, but not all things. So I told him the truth. I said, Mom, you cannot say this to anybody. They're gonna kill you. They're gonna kill me. And they used to kill people, and people hear there is someone just died and they were them. So and the way they had of killing people was absolutely horrible. They torture people before dying, for killing them. So I told him, look what they did to this man. That's what's gonna happen to us if we talk, if we're gonna say a thing. So my mom say, okay, no, I'm not gonna say a thing. So my mom, uh, I was 7 months pregnant, 8, 9 months pregnant. I couldn't make enough money, so my mom had to ask a lot of loans, to the bank, and we have to sell the house to pay them. Everything completely broke because no, we give all the money to them, all the money. So um, it was kind of hard for my mom because my mom paid a lot of money too. Because they used to say, look, you've been, when they were talking to my mom, when they were already like, this is who we are. They say, you want to save your daughter? Pay us money. So I'm going to pay a lot of money to save me, you know. But it was just another technique, you know, manipulation technique that they had, you know, but just like they did to me, they did to my mom. So that's what happened.
So, what had led
So,
up to you escaping finally or getting out of it?
well, okay, it wasn't easy, but you know, when I getting close to the end, my I was already with just one. At first, I was, you know, I have certain freedom. Then they left me completely, and I was with, you know, 10 traffic, or they used to change, like I, you know, they would put other people there, and then back in, you know, back going back to them, it was just one. He was absolutely violent and aggressive. He was a monster, and I was living with this thing, and I had no freedom. I mean, completely not freedom, not going out. I was used to spend days after day in a room. I didn't know it was day or night. Couldn't see any light. So sometimes they love me, you know, they will put me fake light, you know, to camp. But I did not have any window, nothing, you know. So but you know, during that time, this man broke my ribs again, and I was so bad, like the pain was so bad that I had to take a few days off. And then she called me and she said, "Look at the news." And I was like, what about it? I can't see your news. You know that. And okay, look at your phone. Look at the news. They're dead. Everybody's dead. And I was like, who's dead? And she was like, everybody. And then she gave me the names. You know, everyone was talking about it. And that's when finally police said that they were traffickers. Like, till now, I always said, like, if you knew it, then why you did not say a thing? Why? Because a few hours later, they were saying, just traffickers just die. And this is what happened, you know. And I was like, so you knew it, right? So people knew, I mean, police knew that these people were traffickers and why they were there free, right? So that day, four of my traffickers, there were like around 10 traffickers, but four of them died. And they put other new people there,
They
you know.
what?
I mean, they put other people instead of my traffickers, but that took like a week or something like that. So the only trafficker that I had there with me, he was watching the news with me, right? And he say, "Oh wow, they died. Great. Now I'm gonna have you all for me." So he became like an independent trafficker. Many people don't know, but independent traffickers and traffickers who are in the trafficking network, you know, work the same. They don't think the same, and they don't have the same uh, ways, right, to do what they do. So all the money that I was making was all for him. So he locked me in a room. That room is the one that I just posted a video. I don't know if you, the last video that I just posted there, I was locked out in that room. I
I
don't
think I
know.
may know.
Yeah, and you know, I know, like I said, I'm not a religious person, but I before they die, I made a prayer, and I say, like, if you help me to get my freedom back, I will forgive them all. Even if they ask me help, I will help them. There is no grudge against them. I will just forgive them. And they died less than 24 hours after I did that prayer. I don't know. I was like, is that conscious? I don't know. I don't know. But what makes me a bit like scary, I was like, honestly, I was like, what the, right? Because is that after that prayer, he trafficked me more time. It was not like I go out like immediately. I always say, of course, I have my friend after my traffickers actors. I have to make a long story short, right? I cannot explain this to everybody. And in certain way, I did because I knew that it was not going to be the same. You know, it's not the same independent trafficker that a whole trafficking network. You know, it was a bit. I was a bit less scared of the whole situation just with one than 10, right? And it was more likely to finally get my freedom with just one than 10, right? Because the one is not gonna don't have all the power that 10 have, right? So after, I'm sorry. After he started trafficking me more time, you know, and he was not easy because I thought like, damn, like why they die and still not free, right? And I thought I was gonna be free by now. So I made another prayer, and I say again the same prayer. If you give me my freedom back, I will forgive this man. I will help him in anything. Like, please. And 24 hours later, I got my freedom back. I don't know. Like I said, I was like, okay, this cannot be coincidence. Like, right? And the way that it happened, it was a miracle. Because I remember I was like, I'd rather die than live like this. I don't care. Like, if they have to kill my family, I'm sorry, then do it. But I can't just live like this. I just, so I remember the day before I got my freedom, I recorded a video, the one that is there. And after I recorded that video, I hid all the knives that were in the kitchen. He was taking a nap, so I went to the kitchen and I tried to grab all the knives and put it on different places because I say he's gonna kill me because of what I'm gonna do tomorrow. But I don't want to die in this way. No, like that. No one is going to stop me. No, because it was like this has to be one of the worst ways to die. So next day, uh, I just took a deep breath and I told him we need to talk. And he said, "What you want?" Because he was so aggressive. Even when you talk to him, I mean, you couldn't even breathe properly in front of him. Like if you were like, "What you doing?" and he will just slap you for no reason. Like maybe you have to breathe like more. I don't know. It was like he will just slap you for nothing, for no reason. So I was very extremely careful what I say, how I was behaving. So I told him we need to talk. He said, "What do you want?" And I say, "Look, is it not?" I told him, "This is it." Like everybody said, "You're not enjoying your money. You cannot leave me here alone for a moment. Like you have my money, but what you do with the money? You have to be with me all the time because you're afraid I go. So this is not life." I told him, just let it be. Just let me go. Let me go. I won't say a thing to nobody. I won't do anything against you. And he just looked at me for a few seconds and said nothing, and I was like, he's gonna kill me. Like I was so sure this man was just gonna kill me because you cannot say that to traffickers. You cannot even look at them under their eyes. Like you cannot. That is a disrespect for them. So you cannot. You always have to look down when you are talking to them. And I was just talking like I'm talking to you. So he went there silent, and I was like, I'm ready to die. And then he said, "You know what? You're right. I'm glad you say you can go." And I was like, I thought he was lying. I thought he was just like, "Oh, it's just kidding." He would just kill me there. And I was just like, I, I remember looking at him like, waiting, right? And he was like, "What are you waiting? Go, you can go." And I said, "Okay, you're not gonna kill my family. You're not gonna do anything. No, nothing. You're free. I just wanna live my life," he said. And I opened the door and I took my first walk after 8 years, almost 8 years. And I walked for an hour. I remember. I still remember that day because I was crying and walking at the same time. I couldn't believe it. Like I used to remember, I took it like all the time because to see if anyone was following me. No one was there. So after an hour, I knew I had to come back. Like I knew I had my dog there. My mom was near me, and because my traffickers eventually told me you have to keep your mom close because she knows too much, right? So I always have to have
Mm-hmm.
her close.
So yeah, how's life been after getting your freedom?
Well, after I got my freedom, I honestly feel happy. Like the first month were like heavy. Like I did not have any, uh, like a PTSD or something like that. No, I was just having like I woke up like before getting traffic, like before everything happened. I woke up every day and I was so happy, so happy. And it was the problem started like a few months later that I started having issues. Like I started having nightmares, I started having flashbacks, and I was like, "What's wrong with me? Why I'm not that happy anymore?" And I was, I went to depression. I was like, I am free now. Why? I never had. Why now? I'm free. I should enjoy my freedom, right? But I was just having a lot of problems, especially with the flashbacks. That a lot of things happened to me. So every time that I was in a place that something happened, I had a flashback, and the flashback were like I felt what I was feeling in that moment. If was I was angry, that I was feeling angry one moment, I was having a flashback, right? So that's when I try to find help. And well, after I got my freedom, I actually went to the police, but to other police, like more far away, right? Not that
Mm-hmm.
close. So I told them, look, I just escaped, and I've been trafficked for 8 years. I was locked out, and that's when they, finally, they I got the protection, all the help that I needed back in the day. They offered me everything. They offered me, a lot of things. And one of the things they offered me protection from the police. They offered me to change and move to even to another city. They will pay my rent. They will do everything. They will put police officers on my apartment. They will do a lot of things. So I accept some of those things, others not, because I thought was too, like, I would say, like, I've been locked in for 8 years. You want me to put me again in that situation, right? But
Mm-hmm.
not traffic or just police. And I was like, they were like, well, you have to do it, even though maybe not to that extreme, but you cannot go out like like nothing happened, because you can get trafficked again. And I was like, okay, that's why I told you at first that I spent 8 years, and then 2 more years, with I can go out, but no, like now, I can even go out a bit more. But last year it was like, no, I can go out that much, and now I have to use this. That this is a thing that I have to use. I put it every time that I have to go out. I just put it here. And this thing is, if I see someone who's followed me and I see any danger, I just press here. And this thing is connected with the people who has my case and with the police officers and everything. So they will call my whole family. Will call my whole family. There will be like a national, alert. I don't know how to say, like,
Mm-hmm.
everybody will know. And police will come to my house. They will. This thing has like a GPS, so people know where I am. So and that is the way that I have protect myself. So I have to use this for around 3 years, and that is a good thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I have. Um, but I told them, like, I don't want to go with a police. I don't want, like, having police officers all the time. All that. I was like, that is not living. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel pretty safe with this thing. Like, I just press it and that's it. But I haven't do that something to me. So I feel good now, and I believe that now I'm 30. So I don't think they will do that to me, because you get. I mean, it doesn't mean that people who are 30 can get trafficked. They can, but they normally will try to find younger people, because the whole industry. If we're talking about the adult industry or even prostitution, people, their clients tend to be more for younger girls. But there's a lot of pedophilia and all that. So, it's not the same thing, a woman, a 30-year-old woman, that a 19-year-old girl. It's not the same. So, that's a good thing for me that I'm not that young anymore.
Do you find yourself cautious when you're around strangers or just when you're out and about still? Or does the necklace mostly help with that?
Well, I learned a lot of things, human trafficking. I saw them how they work. I saw them a lot of talks they had. I saw how they work, what they do. 8 years. We're talking about 8 years. But I saw them doing a lot of things. So I know the things they do when they want to traffic a person. So I took, of course, I know how to take care of myself. And that's the reason why, I made the Instagram account. I've been doing this here. It's not just to tell my story, because, people made that of my story. Others will believe it. I don't know, whatever. But what is going to talk about me is not my story. It's what I know and what I can teach other people, how these people, work.
What do you think could be done, like as a society and individually to prevent human trafficking?
Okay, traffickers and human trafficking is a business that is so successful because they live on the ignorance of people and the myths. Okay, they live
Mm,
of you know, victim blaming because no one believes the victim. You know, when they get out of
mm,
that situation. So every person, every victim that talks and no one's believe that person, it's a win for them. You know, because that person knows a lot. She's there talking. No one is listening to her or listening to him, and that is a win for them. So I believe that the first thing that everybody should do is, you know, getting a knowledge. That's what it really matters. If you gain a knowledge about human trafficking, you will have 80%, you know, winning this battle, because they live of that. They will not traffic a person who knows a lot about this, because you will spot them, you know, you will know how they work. You, in a minute you say someone who is like trying to get your trust and being too good, and you're asking like, why this person is being too good for me or no reason, right? And you try to, if you know how they work, they will just give up. And I saw many times that they wanted to traffic someone and giving up. If you gain knowledge, if people gain knowledge of how they work, what they do, their mentality they have, and how you can know what type of victims do they want. Like they know everybody is a victim for them. You know, if they have to traffic a person, they will, because there's many. Maybe in this moment we're not going to talk about it, but they have the two ways. They have the getting trust and, you know, whole process, right? To when they want to talk to a person, and they kidnap them. They just don't care what is your personality or anything, right? They will just kidnap you. But even like that, they will try to find people who have certain uh, things like personality type. I saw them many times giving up in a victim because the personality was just more like, for me, for example, I was very shy. I was very private. I've never tell anybody anything, and that was perfect for them. But I saw them with another girl. They were traffic, and that girl was like a carry. I would say, you know, like she couldn't shut up. She was the one. I want to talk to your manager. You know, that type of girl.
mm,
And they were like, no, not in traffic or one car. But you know, like I should make jokes of this, but no, I try to take it, you know, easy, easy. But they were like, no, we can't, it's too complicated, because that girl put everything on Facebook, and she was telling everybody everything that happened today, you know. And even though I was like that, I used to tell a lot of people what happened to me a day. I was not posted on social media, for example, you know, with just one on one, you know. But that girl was, I don't know, like I don't know, she felt like it was, she was an influencer or something. Like she was talking, and they were like, we can do anything with her, because if she goes missing, people will know, right? What happened to her? Where's she? And that, you know, so we have to, people have to know that traffickers look for certain things in people. Even if they try to kidnap people, they will try to find certain things. If they will try to traffic a person, you know, with the whole process, they will try to find certain things. So you can be. I'm not saying that you have to become a carry, right? You don't have to be like
mm,
that, but you do have to be careful in the way you show yourself to the whole world, right? You don't talk too much with people. Don't start talking about your dreams and your goals, like personal goals, right? And don't be too naive. If people being like too good for you, just think about why. I mean, and if you have to remember, if ever told you like, can you tell me about your life? And you told them about, oh, I'm lonely, and then that person became what you needed, you have to be careful, right?
mm,
Especially if you are young and the whole thing, you have to see the whole thing. We don't have to be so, you know, with everybody. Maybe it's people just want to be your friend, right? But you have to see if that person is older than you, and if something is off, people can know that something is off. Of course, many victims can recognize when they're being trafficked, just like me. But I can definitely remember that I saw a lot of signs, just that I didn't know that it was trafficking. So if you know what is human trafficking, you will see the signs. You know what I'm saying? You'll say like, wait, this is not normal. Like, why they're doing this. If you there is a moment, there's time if when you are in the process of getting trafficked that you can actually escape. They can you can escape from them. But there is just after a while that it's very hard. So like if you know about human trafficking, people know about human trafficking. That is what it really matters. Like I would believe that it's 80%, like I say. Like people need to learn about how traffickers work, the difference from a independent trafficker and a difference from a trafficker who is in a trafficking network, how they work, why they think what they think, you know what I'm saying?
What
And
was 80%?
I believe, I believe that if you learn about human trafficking, you can avoid getting trafficked in 80%, that's time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. That because human trafficking lives and is so successful because of the ignorance of people. Like I always say, what if the people who saw me there, that a lot of people saw me, a lot of signs, I show a lot of signs. I even do this on camp many times.
Do.
The sign. This is a sign that people do when they are being kidnapped or something. I
Okay.
did a a lot of times. I did it. Of course, I did it like this. So I was just like that, right?
Hmm.
No one cared. I did it on the street too to people.
I
Nothing.
did not know that was a sign that people do.
Yeah, yeah. So I did. I even did it to the police one time. Nothing. How could people don't know? Like if you see a woman who is always looking down and there's someone there next to her, someone is a man there, and she was not allowed to talk. Can you see that something is up? But the problem is that people is just like, I don't want to, not my problem, not my business. Mind your business, right? That's what people say.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing people don't know, and people don't want to go there and say a thing. Like I say, I'm not angry or I never blame the woman who came to me and told me, "Are you okay?" Because she was the only one who saw me back, who wanted to try and help me in some way. She saw me like it was pretty obvious that I was something was off, and she said, "Are you okay?" And she get close. She got close to me, and my traffic was like, let's say, a bit far, but not that far, right? And she said to my ear, "Is that man doing something to you?" Right? And I believe that's what she went here so close to me. My trafficker saw that, and I
Mm-hmm.
say no. And I did not. I say no because I have my family there. The problem was my family. If no, I would probably say yes because he was not gonna kill me right there in front of everybody. But I have the problem that I couldn't go because of my family. I was not willing to pay that price. So I say no, I'm okay. And she said, "You don't look okay." It was very fast talk, like something like 5 seconds talk. And say, "I'm okay, I'm okay." Like and when I say I'm okay, it's like shut up, like leave me, please. And she was like, "Okay, right." And maybe she thought I was rude, but I was like, "Stop, stop," because I knew something was gonna. So he, like I say, he took me to the apartment. He did what he did, but so like you can see someone is something is weird, something is off there with a woman or with a child or with a man, but you just better call police or try to put pressure. Sometimes police, depending where you are, you will call it. They were like, okay, and we'll put it there. See, and they were not doing anything right there in that moment. But if you make more people call for the same thing, they will do something a little quicker. Yeah, that's why I believe that if you just don't go there to the victim because she won't tell you the truth first. I mean, she won't tell you anything. She will
Mm-hmm.
lie. You can put him in danger, but you can try to help her in other ways.
And you said that the more people that call in, the more seriously the cops will take it.
This is something that I say based on my experience that I saw
Mm-hmm.
many times, like even me, because when you call police, and I'm not blaming police officers or anything. The problem is that they have a lot of people for calling in there for a lot of reasons, right? So they have like they will say is this person in danger right now? And you will say no. They will say, okay. They will just make a note and probably put in an investigation, but they will not do nothing there right there. And the problem is that the trafficker will take her to another place. So, but if you see that you call and then you call again tomorrow and you put your mom or whatever to call and you call and you call and you call and you call, they will just pay attention. But if you call one time, maybe not. They will ask you, is that person in danger right now? If you say no, you know. And like I said, I experienced this because there was a woman who was being trafficked, and that was after I got my freedom. And someone told me, this woman's been, my mom told me actually, I know someone who's trafficked right now, and she told me that she had a baby, a 3-month baby, and she was gonna die. The trafficker was gonna kill her today. And I was like, we have to save her, right? Because I know what she's feeling, so I have to save her. And you kind of like lose the fear of a lot of things. You don't. I don't know how to explain, but you you kind of like you will do things that most people won't do because you already been there. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like when someone will go to the war, they will do things that a normal person won't do, right? Because they will probably be panicking, right? So I was just like, I called police and I did what I was supposed to do. I told him there's a traffic woman there. I give the address, go for her. And the police told me, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure. And the police officer say, is she in immediate danger? And I was like, yeah. And then he say, do you think she will say that she want to go with us? And I was like, probably no. She won't tell you that. Like, she
Mm-hmm.
can't tell you that because I told them, like, I know she won't tell you that. And like, we can do anything. Man. Like, I was told him, what the hell do you mean you can do anything? This woman and this baby is going to die today. And you, just because she say no, you just won't do anything. And they were like, no, you can't do anything. So I was like, oh, right? I do myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I contacted another girl and I told her, let's go and get that girl. And my mom told me that the trafficker was not around at a certain hour. So I went there. It was in the middle of nowhere. I mean, in the middle of nowhere. She was in the mountain there, like, and we were there in the car, and I was like, well, everybody's gonna die today, like, because if the trafficker get us, she will kill my mom, she will kill the girl who's driving and me and everybody. So we were like, we put ourselves in extreme danger right that day. And I saw her with a baby. She was living in a small house. It was like really poor, everything, the whole apartment. And she knew my mom, and she asked help from my mom. So my mom told her, come to the car, and she ran. She ran to the car. We pick her up, and we drive to the police. And we said that girl. Later, the police called the man,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what happened. Of course, there's a lot of stories in this war of human trafficking, the crimes and everything. But the thing here that people have to understand when they hear a victim talking about, I heard victims talking that they were raped by 30 men a day or 40 men a day. And people were like, that is not possible. And people tend to not believe victims for whatever reason. But the problem here is that it's possible because the craziest stories I could ever hear, the most bizarre things that you can ever imagine, it happened in this world. You know, this war, the whole war of drug trafficking, human trafficking, they have movies get short on what they show. They live a life completely out of normal. They're not normal. They don't have a normal life. They kill people. They say, I just killed 2 people today. Like it was nothing, you know. And they have this, and when they do the crime they do, they go beyond everything. You know what I'm saying? So when a victim say, I was raped, for 30 men a day, I believe her because it's possible. No, it's not possible. It's possible. You know what I'm saying? So Um, I know a lot of people, like I say, have told me like, oh, I don't believe you're, and even, I can show all the proofs from police and from everything, and people will maybe won't even believe me. Not even showing everything, like because it's so weird and so extreme and so bizarre where you live there that I can understand why people don't believe certain things about when a victim survives and talk about what happened. But I do believe that you can learn a lot about victims because they know a lot. It's just like officer, police officer, like they how police know what they do because they talk with victims and because they talk with traffickers when they call them. That's how they know, and therefore they run investigation, and that's how they know. So when you're there, you're living there with them. You can hear them. You can see everything from you're there from that. You're living there in that moment, everything. So I believe that to people that if, like I say in the first, like if they getting acknowledged and they listen victim, even if you don't believe the story that a victim just say, you can see the amount of knowledge she has of human trafficking about the whole topic, and you will know how this person is gonna know so much if she did not leave it, right? Because you can find information about in Google and everything, but it's not the same when you're talking to the person, and it's kind of like she knows what you're talking about, right? So I mentioned this because I don't want that my story, because I know my story is gonna crazy, and everything, but I don't want my story, um, like let's say, overshadow what my message. People may believe my story or may not believe my story. It's fine, whatever. But I want to tell people that it doesn't matter. I'm not here to get attention because they look at my story. If my story can help other people, good. But what I want to tell people is that getting knowledge about human trafficking is the only way. There are other ways, but this is the main way, like the main reason. Like if you gain a knowledge about this, you will help other people and you will protect them. So like, it's very, very, very important. This like um, at least if uh, they don't believe victims, at least gain knowledge in other ways, but do something about it. You know what I'm saying? That's the main reason why I'm doing this. It's not easy for me or for any other victim to talk about all the humiliations and all the abuse that someone did to you. But if you do that, it's for that reason to help other people, to live like that.
Definitely very commendable too. I definitely imagine it's not easy. Um, what would you say for parents specifically? How could they would it be having that knowledge to better help their own kids from getting caught up in that? Would you say it's mostly back to the having that
To the
knowledge
parents,
of
you mean?
yeah,
What are the
but
advice?
for
Okay,
parents
well,
specifically?
I will I will first give them, like I said, first gain knowledge about human trafficking and
Hmm.
gain knowledge about independent traffickers and traffickers on trafficking network. There's two main reasons and two things that you have to learn. Like you have to learn that. But if don't go to places where you know that they have a corrupt government, you can Google. You can Google because traffickers will go where there is corruption. Okay, that's their place. Why? Because they will buy cops, they will buy judges, they will buy doctors. They will do so. If the whole thing is good for them, you know, then they will go there. They will blossom. Like they will. They will be successful there. They will not going to put their business in a place where the police is not corrupt, where they're not going to make it there. So if I would say it's parents. If you want to travel, do not go to those countries. I am sorry to say, like yeah, but don't go there. Just don't say, "I'm not happen to me." It will happen to you. And if you go to those places, it's more likely they will kidnap your kid because that's how they work. When if the government, if the police or the city is corrupted, they will use kidnapping. They will not use the other way that I told you that there is a game trust and everything. So number one, do not go to places that is well known that they have. corrupt government, or the police is not working a good job, or there were other kidnappings. I don't want to mention places, but you can Google. What country is well known for? You don't go there. Yeah, right. Another thing that I will mention people, if you have kids like toddlers or babies, always use safety rubber, something that can with your child, because sometimes when they want to kidnap a baby, they will use three people. They will use the people. They will use two methods here. They will just, let's say, they will always go for single moms, right? They will not going to kidnap a baby who has a parent and a mom, and now they will go for a single mom who probably with a phone or something like that. So they have two ways to do it. They will put the car, let's say you're here, they will put the car here, and then you're gonna go down, they will take your child, and they will go into the car and leave. Okay, that's the way. And why this they do that? Because they know police is with them. Okay, they won't do this in a place that they don't have connection with police. Okay, it's very unlikely. And if they do it, it probably won't be a trafficking network. The trafficking networks, they have a lot of people who are smarter. Otherwise, they won't have a business so successful. So if you see someone doing that, like go out and took the kids, it's very like you can think about it. Like if that happened to you, if you have the unfortunately to be in that situation, you have to think where you are right now. Okay, where is the place where do I know the place where I am right now? Okay, because if I go to police, you don't know the place. You go and say, look, my baby just someone, and they were like, okay, they are going to do an investigation, and they're gonna lead to nowhere. Understand my point? Like, I'm not saying that all there's corruption everywhere. No, and I'm not against police, but people tend to misunderstand me a bit. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we have to talk how it is, and that's the truth. Traffickers tend to buy a lot of cops and a lot of police officers. So if they use kidnapping, it's I'm not saying all the time, but it's very probably they do have some type of connection with police. So that's why always use something that at least you can fight a bit with your kids. Do not put it on this side of the street. You put it here. Always use something. Do not go with your phone there, right? Always pay attention. And most important thing that when you use that, uh, they have this other way to do it when they want to the traffic a kid. That they will use a woman or I don't know, a baby, another kid, or whatever, to get your attention. So you were there walking, and then a woman, I don't know, a pregnant woman will just, I don't know, fall or faint. And you're like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And that moment, you stop paying attention to your kid, right? And guess who is behind? There was following you, probably trafficker is gonna take your kid, and then there's always when they try to do this thing, there's gonna be three or four people. The one in the car, the one who's getting the attention, the woman who faints or whatever, the one, the trafficker who is behind you, and another person that is gonna be in the middle. Why is it gonna be in the middle? So you don't see when they're taking your child. So you're there trying to help this woman, right? Another man take your child, and another man comes here to put you there and say, "Oh my gosh, is she okay?" And she will like, and they are so good at this. They're like in seconds they're gone. You go here, they're gone, and they put in a car. Someone is there waiting for them, and that's how they do it. So what happened when you have that? When you're with your child there with this safety wrap there you have there. Well, they can't do it because you will feel it, right? You will feel it. Of course, they always can take it down or something, but like you cannot feel it, and that so they will try to avoid people who have these things. And I saw them, like I saw them, like I remember they used to do this kind of like go in a car, and they told me if you come and work with us, we're not going to let you. Um, we're not going to hurt you so much. And I was like, I'm not doing this to nobody. So that's why they did a lot of horrible things to me. But they tried to convince me. So that's what they showed me how they do things.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw them. They told me like, we do this and we do that, and they were like, why you don't work with us? You can bring other girls to camp. And I was like, you know, like they want me to help them to put another woman in my situation. I was like, I'm not doing this. And I believe that, like I say, many people who get trafficked, they eventually become traffickers because you know, they had to do it. You know, they so like I say, if you have a child, do not go there or places that you know that are not right safe. Always use something to get your kid there close to you. If someone faints or whatever happened in front of you, but when that happens, always put your child here in front of you. Always immediately. That you have to know, like, oh, someone fainted, put your child here. I'm not saying you don't have the woman, because maybe it's normal person that something happened, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not a trafficker, but always put your child here in front of you. Do not put your child there, like alone and down, like here. No. I saw people in the mall walking and their kids there
Mm-hmm.
behind. Do not do that. No. So that's what the advice that I will give them. And of course, getting knowledge, if someone is there trying to pay your rent for no reason, if someone is being too good and you have kids, be careful. I mean, no, people don't do that for no reason. I mean, maybe there is someone who really have a good heart, but will not try to get more, like they will help you, but they will, I help you and that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They will not try to be your friend. Why this person is trying to be my friend,
Expect something in
right?
return.
Yeah, exactly. So just like do not trust people, like if they are like other thing that like in sports or entertainment industry. They say, oh, you're gonna cut the opportunities of your child if you don't let us go with us. Just do not do it. Do not let your child go to any modeling thing alone. It's like I can almost guarantee that a child gonna get abused. Maybe and sometimes we'll traffic, other times we'll just get abused. But if you let your child, just because they say, and they will always use things like that, they will always manipulate people. Like if you don't let your child go because parents can go, then you're gonna ruin their career. No, it's just I heard that many times. And these people, the lawyers, they not only have their legal business because they were real lawyers. They have other business and other ways to catch people. You know, they have schools, music schools and other things. And that's how they will try to find the right person. It was a legal and business. Yes, it was. Many people, nothing happened to them because they were not the victims they needed. So they were having a real business. Nothing happened. But there were one of them who was like, okay, this is the one. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm trying to say. That if you have a kid, do not trust. No, I mean, trust nobody. Like nobody. Like with that, don't know leave your child unattended or along with nobody, no matter how good it is. It can be, you can think it's Jesus. No, like nobody, and all the things that I say.
And you recommend having a thing that like you wrap around your wrist and it goes on your kid's wrist as well.
Yeah, yeah, because I like again, I remember I had a conversation with them, and I say like, what do you look? Uh, I have many conversations. They were like violent, but at the same time, they were other times they were more calm. And after so many years, you end up being like kind of like a holding. I don't know how to say it. You just kind of feel like them, and they have the same thing. They're doing a lot of horrible things to you, but they will give you things. They will tell you things because they kind of trust you some way. I don't know what's wrong with them either. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that I have something there back in the day, or something that was probably not right. That I feel like there were moments who I just completely forgot what they were doing to me, right? Because they were talking to me like there was nothing happening, and they sometimes they will probably forget that they were my trafficker, and they will talk to me like one on one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what kind of relationship was that in that moment. I can explain, but they told me things like that. I told them like,
Mm-hmm.
do you, what do you look? How do you know if that you in a traffic that killer, right? And they were one of the things they told me is that how easy is to do the whole thing. They always try to do the easiest way, yeah. And like if you put it hard, well, they will not do it. So always have something there.
So what do you think would be next for you, like going forward with your life now that you're free? Do you have many goals or things that you want to achieve now with your?
Well, my the government is trying to help me to put my business again, the one that I lost because it's the thing that I did and now it's doing pretty good. So that's the first thing that my main goal is to get my business back on track. That's one of the things that I have, of course, and uh, I have a lot of goals. Actually, I made a list of all the goals that I want to do, and I'm trying to make it to achieve them.
I hope they all
Oh,
go
I,
well.
I have another goal that I would like to mention that I really hope to one day make
Mm-hmm.
a foundation or something to help victims of human trafficking. Like I really want to because many people don't know what victim needs after they get out. And the problem with that is that many victims tend to do the same job that they did after, when they were trafficked because they have no more option. Let's say they were prostitutes, so they got their freedom. But what's the problem? They got no help from nobody. They need to survive. No one is helping them. No one's gonna give them any job. And many times, not all governments are like the one that I am right now. So what happens? That she probably will end up doing what she knows, being a prostitute. And the problem with that is that the person is like it gets again in the whole thing and probably will get trafficked by another person and many end up dead, because many use drugs. And I was lucky enough to never forced to take any drugs because I had to come, other things. But many people are forced to take drugs to because the abuse is so extreme, especially if they are being sexually abusive. So I want to make these things so because I know what they need. I know that they need. Uh, let's face it, they need money. After you get out of the situation, you need a place to live, and you need a moment. You need at least a few months to recover yourself from everything. Not worrying about you have to work. I believe that victims should not work immediately after they got the freedom. They need moments
Mm-hmm.
to and I believe that many people and the whole society does not understand it. They just pretend that person just escaping and then okay, but let's find a job. It's not like that. So that's why I wanna create this thing, like this kind of foundation to help people there, and to one of my dreams and my goal is to make a place where any pregnant woman can go and eat, regardless if being trafficked or no. If she's hungry, she can go and eat. Because what they did to me, give me dog food. It just like it was one of the worst things they could do to me. And I want to help people. I want to help pregnant women. If they no, I don't think that any pregnant woman deserves to have get through that. So I wish that and I hope to make that to give food to pregnant women so they nobody else have to go through that. It doesn't matter if they are being trafficked or not.
I hope it does become a thing because that's definitely like a very helpful and important thing to have for um victims. One more thing I do want to ask, like one last thing, kind of a more lighthearted way to end things since I know it's been a pretty dark discussion. Um, just a little quick lighthearted thing is, what would you say you would prefer, cake or ice cream?
Oh, oh, okay. Ice cream.
Ice cream? You have a
Uh,
favorite?
hmm, Strawberry.
Hmm, never had much strawberry. Yeah, I figured I'd just ask that quick little lighthearted thing to lighten a little bit. Um,
Yeah, yeah, it's fine.
but but thank you. I really do appreciate you having this conversation with me. It's been very informative to me, and
But no,
the
thank you
first thing
for
I've read
having
this
me.
taught us. Hmm,
I hope that I have a thing that I know I'm conscious about it, that I sometimes I talk too much and I go to the point. So I hope that I made myself clear here, because it's
hmm,
kind of like that's why I'm writing a book instead of making videos. Because sometimes
hmm,
I'm not really good at expressing myself, but I hope that what I say, you know people can understand what I'm saying. I'm saying that
hmm.
I hope that's my goal. I did not say too much and say nothing. I really hope that what I say is useful in some way.
Hmm. I definitely found it impactful and um, informative. It's definitely something that really, yeah. So I really do appreciate this, and thank you so much for it.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Mm. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I will be praying for you and others that are in situations like yours. So,
Yeah, yeah.
thank,
We have to keep fighting this.
mhm.
Thank you for giving me the chance to talk. I think and I believe that everybody should have one of these. Okay, you don't have to be like a survivor of human trafficking to get one of these. You can get one on Amazon, and I believe everybody should have this because it can save your life. Okay, of course, my device is connected with a lot of people because I was very trafficked and everything, but you can get one of these or well, another like this one. Don't have to be the same, and make the settings that they contact your family. And the moment you click it, your police will know, and your family know where you are because they have the GPS there. So someone who you trust can know where you are, and if something happened to you, then the person will get a notification that something is happening. So I believe that, yeah, it's very. I saw it on Amazon, I believe, and I don't remember the other side, but one of those big place to buy things. So I saw it. Maybe I can get the link. I don't, but I think I can. I think I can get the link. Yeah, and
I'll try to find a link.
yeah, and you put it here, and it actually has like you can use this thing. Just let me show you. Just give me a moment. In case you don't want to go there, you can put it here. No one will know. Have the thing here. I use it like this because for me it's more easy to just click and that's it, right? So I never use this because meanwhile I take everything, it's it. So I just use it like that. I just, you know, and like I say, you don't have to go through all what I went through to just to get one of these. You can, if I could go back in time, I would use. Like it doesn't matter. Maybe it's not gonna be connected with so many people in so many things, but your family can know, and you can make the settings or whatever you want, right? And it's always a good thing to use. So I would suggest people to use this if just use it all the time. You can use it. I mean, I feel very safe with this. I can't even describe what they did to other kids. I mean, kids. I mean, things when they did not pay. I, one of the worst things that I did was to a 17-year-old kid who couldn't pay, and they put I don't know if you want to know, but they tortured that man. Mhm. I can describe. The hair was full of you know. I can. It was
They
horrible.
burned him.
No, they grabbed like a hammer and they put them. Oh, it's just so hard to tell. And and they were like the
That's sad.
whole head, and they. You know what the worst thing? They did everything, eyes, everything. They cut everything right, and they put it in front of mama house, right there, sleep right there. So the mom woke up, and the first thing they saw was her son being absolutely tortured to death. Can you feel? Can you? I mean, can you think about how they feel that mom? Was one of those worst crimes that I saw and that I heard that they did. One of the worst absolute crimes that poor kid. The only thing that he did was not paying money. He was being trafficked. You know what I'm saying? I believe he owned a lot of money. He did not own any money. They have to pay, and he hadn't paid for around 3 months. I don't know what the situation he was. I don't know what he was forced to do, but the mom did the same thing. And my mom, she gave a lot of money to traffickers. To one point, she couldn't, and that's one of the crimes that was, I believe, was the worst crime. That and the one that they were recording to another man. That absolutely, but that shocked me and saddened me because it was a kid, 17 years old. What can a 17 years old do to have that there? Nothing, right? Like, so when you know what they do and are in front of you, you just, I remember what the fear that I feel every time they come here. Maybe they were not being aggressive, but you just sit down like this, like you can breathe, you can.
Mm-hmm.
So people say, "What you done wrong? You don't dare to wrong. What if nobody helps
Yeah.
you? Do you know what is gonna happen if they caught you again?"
Mm-hmm.
People don't get it. That people say, when you're wrong, you can't wrong. Your body is paralyzed. You feel like you can't do anything. Only people who have been there and know the fear will know that it's not easy to wrong. It's just not wrong because there is a chance that maybe nobody helps you, right? Or maybe police. No, because I saw an old woman going, when she went to the police because they stole the money. And I saw the police came to the lawyer and say, "Guess who was there? That woman. She's making a lawsuit." And she was like, "Oh, really?" Then he called the government and saying, "Hey, take care of this." That poor woman went to the police, trust the police, and they did that. You know what I'm saying? So it is a lot of fear, a lot of horrible things that it's very hard to get out of the situation. I believe if there were, I always say, God save me. Because what are the chances that they after a prayer they die? I'm not saying God killed them, right? But and what
Mm-hmm.
are the chances that I make a pray and the trafficker who were the one who just he was the one who broke my nose and my ribs and all that decided to say just go.
Do you personally see it as a miracle that it happened? Like.
Well, yes, because the chances that a man so aggressive and violent
Mm-hmm.
decided to smile and say go, it's a miracle. Like we're talking about trafficker,
Mm-hmm.
why he will just let me go? How? I cannot explain why it happened to him. Why? Even after I told him we need to talk, he told me what, right? And just in the moment I say, let me go, he say, okay. How? He was right here, and I walked in front of him to the door. He did not move a finger to stop me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him. For me, that was the miracle. Maybe no other day, I don't know. But that man, he was a monster. Decided to let me go. Nah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe someone can explain me. I don't know. I don't know.
Do you think it's kind of like something you just can't explain, or do you think it's kind of like God worked a miracle, or is it
I
how's?
I you know I asked God the day that I recorded that video that is in there, my freedom. I did the second time because I did it the first time and they died, but I got my freedom right there. So I I did a second prayer, same prayer. In 24 hours, I was free. Even if let's say someone who does not believe in anything, God, nothing,
Mm-hmm.
can someone explain me why someone who is being so aggressive and have never shown any type of empathy or compassion just decided to say, okay, you can go. And he did not tell me like go. No, he's following me. Say you can go. For the first time in years, this man treated me with respect. Can anybody explain me how that happened? I don't have a way to explain it. Maybe I'm willing to hear different types of opinions. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is the ultimate truth. Sorry, I'm a dog. Sorry. This is the only dog that survived. This one right here is the only dog that survived.
Mm,
Poor dog, he got a lot of beating, my poor
mm,
dog, but he survived, and that's why I love him so much because he did a lot of things to me, with me. But yeah, so like I say, if someone can explain me and tell me this is what happened, I'm open to. I'm not close, fine,
mm.
like I'm open to. But so far, no one can explain a change of behavior so fast and so extreme. If psychologists are the first ones to say that abusers don't change, they always say that
Mm.
abusers never change, narcissists never change, psychopaths don't change. Then why he will?
I mean, my own thought is that it's definitely a God worked miracle.
Yeah,
From
I, I,
here
I
to
try
see it.
to, yeah, I try to, like I say, I say I will never hold any grudge against them. I will never hate them. I will forgive them with the bottom of my heart. Real forgive. Because many people say, I forgive you. 5 minutes later, they tell you, oh, but you remember what you did. Many
Mm,
people is like that. They say they forgive someone and they are saying, oh, but you did this to me. You did this to me, right? So I say, like, I will forever, like, they're forgiven. Like if they ask me help, if they change and will come here and ask me help, if they say I'm sorry, I will help them and I will treat them with all the respect and love that they never did to me. I will not remember what they did to me, right? That's what I promised after that. And I thought that it was gonna be hard to do that, but after I got my freedom, I was clean. I I don't. That's another miracle. I was always full of hate. I was so full of bitter. And after I said a prayer and I got my freedom, I was clean. No hate. I was just happy. No hate. Nobody. I remember I think about them and I feel nothing. No hate. I actually feel kind of like love, even though they did what they did to me. Not love like not love like I love them, but love like
mm,
to the person that I hate what they do, but not them. I hate everything they did to me, yes, but not them. I forgive them with the bottom of my heart. And if I forgive them, then probably God too. I'm not thinking they're in hell. Like people just text me, okay, I know they're in hell. Enjoy, man. He said to me,
mm.
and I was like, no, I don't. First, I don't believe in hell, but like, uh, I'm not thinking in that. I'm not feeling. I did not feel happy, like thinking that they're there, especially knowing they're sorry that we're trafficking too. Kids, many of them. I'm. I hate what they do, but I don't hate them. And how do you call that? I would be so, like if people get mad when they stole little money. Can you think about it? When they stole your life, they stole you everything you have. They force you to do things. The level of hate that you have. And one day to another, you clean. I forget everything they did, everything, all the abuses, every time. I tried to escape 3 times, even though I was scared. I tried few times, but they got me in hours later. And every time that I did that, they sent someone to abuse me. So, I really hope that with my story, people can learn to forgive. I don't think what they did to me. I tell you what they did to me, but not with hate. You know. Now we have I feel compassion. I feel compassion, and they're there, and I hope that God forgive them too. You know, that's it.
It's very, very inspirational. Forgiveness is something that I would strive for, and I hope others will strive for that level of forgiveness because I know that's for many people that wouldn't be a very easy thing to do. For some, they'd almost say it's impossible to forgive someone of something like that. But that's definitely a good thing, and that's inspiring that you've have that with everything that you've been through.
Yeah, I believe that if you learn to understand that people who hurt people are not happy and they're not good, then you will see them with another perspective. That's the thing. If you just think about someone who hurt you and see them with you're seeing with the perspective, oh, he's the bad, he did this to me, and yes, he did, he's the bad. But you have to understand what is beyond that, what is going on, why this person is doing this. If you, when you see probably, and I can almost sure that this person is living a really ugly life. It's not happy. The price that my traffickers pay, do all the things that they did to me, was not being happy. I never saw them happy. None. They never smile. They only smile and laugh when they were doing bad things, but it was like it's kind of like a fake, um, just in the moment what they're
Mhm.
doing, and but it's not real happiness. You know. So when you see the person who did wrong to you in the right perspective, that this person is not happy and this person is having a very miserable life. The more they hurt you, the more miserable they are. People who are happy just don't do that. So you see them with compassion that way. Even after they did what they did, you hate what you did, what they did, but not them. You know, that's what I wanted to express and teach people. You will be more happy if you learn to forgive from the bottom of your heart. And I just want to mention a thing that I read in the Bible. I know people when say they're reading the Bible, they're like, oh, she comes talking about the Bible, but there's nothing religious what I'm going to talk about. It's actually something that many people don't pay attention. After Jesus died and he went there to talk with Peter, he said, "Do you love me?" And he said, "Yeah." And then he asked, "Do you love me?" Right? And that was the first time that they saw each other after he said that he did not meet him, right? He didn't know him. And I always say to people, did Jesus say, "Oh, but you did not meet him last time," right? Did
Mhm.
Jesus say that? Like, I forgive you, okay, fine, but I know what you did, right?
Mhm.
Oh, there's this thing that I always hear people saying, "I forgive you, but I won't forget what you did to me." Have you heard that?
Mhm.
And I would say that is a BS quote. Well, just better say that you don't forgive. Just better say it. Just better say that
Mhm.
you don't forgive. Because if you keep thinking about that, you're not really forgive people. You can, I mean, you have a memory. You can remember what they did to you, but not in that way. Not in,
Mhm.
I remember what you did to me. And, I forgive you. But just, I remember, and this is why I want you to hear. You have the choice to put people here, of course, because they're toxic or whatever, but no, and not for that reason, not because I remember what you did to me, not in that way. It's because you know that they are not being, uh, they're not acting right, so you have to leave them alone. You don't want them here because they're gonna hurt you, okay? But not because you're thinking, oh, you stole my money. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So when you forgive, right, when you truly forgive from the bottom of your heart, just don't think about what they did to you. People say, you should forgive, but they don't say how, why,
Mhm.
right? Just because it will make you feel better. But I don't, people say, okay, I forgive them, I don't make you feel better. No, it's not just
Mhm.
forgiving, that's it. It's understanding why you are forgiving that person. It's
Mhm.
changing the perspective. That is what is going to make that you really forgive them. Because you can say many 100 times, I forgive them, man. Maybe not.
Mhm.
The only way you can forgive them is changing this perspective of the things that you have. And sometimes, I'm not saying almost never, but sometimes people do change. People always say people don't change. I always say they're wrong. People change, and you always have to
Mhm.
give a chance people to change. No, maybe you don't want them in your life because you don't trust them. It's fine, okay? But you have to let people to have a second try, right?
Mhm.
Because if the Bible is full of that. Moses killed a man, and there's full of a lot of people there who did a lot of even prostitutes there, right? So a lot of
Mhm.
people did horrible things. But when if that person really changed, then you don't have to say, "Oh, but you remember when you were a hooker?" No,
Mhm.
right? Just let it actually tell them, "I'm glad you're doing great." Like even though they
Mhm.
hurt you, like I'm glad you're okay because the people deserve to have a second chance even if they did wrong. They will pay for the crime, probably will go to jail, but they deserve that, like, I know some people are absolutely horrible. We're talking about pedophiles and people who do horrible things. That people are not going to change. And I mean, we're talking about how the brain structure is, right? And some people, it's possible that they change. And I always say people can change. Maybe with a miracle, maybe it can happen. Even the worst psychopath we can find, right? But the truth is that the brain structure, brain of psychopaths has a different type of structure, and it's very hard to them to change that. But some people are not like that. They're just maybe grew up in a wrong environment. Maybe there's all these things of violence, right? And they want to start a new life. And if they change, what should we do? We should do what what gods do. Forgive, it's over. Okay, you have to protect, yeah. You don't have to go there saying, "Oh, you do that."
Mm-hmm.
No, because we all make mistakes, right? We don't want that someone to do that to us, right?
Forgiveness is definitely a big, huge theme in the Bible.
Yeah, like a lot of people called me a liar when I was young. I was trafficked because I used to lie a lot to cover all everything, and there's something that got in here in my head. It was so hard for me, people, because I felt like it was unfair. They were like, you lie about everything. You lie about your name. I have another name, about your age, about where you're from, about everything. And they judge me based on that. It was true. Yes, it was true. I was lying. But why? The reason why, that's what people have to see. Why this person doing this? Why is this person lying? What's going on? Okay, I'm not saying that what I did was wrong. Yes, the why. So if the person, now that I'm free, I say to myself, I'm not lying, absolutely nothing. Of course, everybody lies. People say, no, I never lie. Let's face it. Like sometimes you are, I don't know, sick and you don't want to go out, and you say, and maybe it's a lie,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, but the thing here is that no, not living in that way, because that was the way I was living. Fake name, fake identity, fake everything. Because my traffickers taught me that. After I got my freedom, I thought about, like, do I have to say now who I am? Like, right? I was a bit afraid because I was spending almost a decade lying about who I was, right? And then I say, I'm not doing that. I'm saying my real name. I'm saying everything. I'm saying what they did to me, and someone wants me. They want me. This is what you got, but you see what you got, right? You know what I'm saying? So, um, I say I want to have like a new start, right? And it's not fair that people should call me like that because I did that first because I was trafficked. But people should ever call me in that way because what I did, or I should be known for a camgirl forever. I believe that when my traffickers told me, you should start lying about your name because it's dangerous to people now. You start lying about where you're from. You start. I could have said no, but I
Mm-hmm.
said yes. Why? Maybe it was because they what they put me there sound better, you know. Maybe it was a beautiful name and the one that I haven't liked it. So I did make mistakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I am guilty. But the point here is that you accept your mistakes, you forgive yourself because forgiving yourself is kind of hard too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you move on. That's why people can know that you're being. This was a real change. If you admit what you did, then you say, "Look, I did wrong, but move on. Not trying to do it anymore." You know, we all make mistakes, and people always make mistakes. And so are you hard to yourself? People always tend to use excuses, right? I did this because of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I cheated on her because she was always, I don't know, nowhere. Or maybe I thought she was cheating on me, but I cheated on her, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people always make excuses. So why are you so hard with others if you're not so hard with yourself, right?
Oh, I know something that I thought of earlier that I wanted to ask. You mentioned that your friend was the one, a friend of yours had pointed you to the lawyers, right?
Hmm.
Do you think they knew what the
And she
lawyers were
knew.
doing?
She knew. She saw me at traffic and she laughed about me. She told me I had two rats inside. She knew. She did it on purpose because I was happy with my life. This is what I tell you. She was unhappy. She saw me happy. So that's what she did. She did that, because I forgave her too. Because I know she was so unhappy with her life that every time that I was there laughing, that is just spits her off. So she gave me the name contact me with a trafficker, and she knew everything they were gonna do to me. She did not mind.
How long did you know her for?
Huh?
How long did you know her?
No, she had a beauty salon, and I knew her for around 3 years before I got trafficked. For over 3 years I was there talking. This is my
Mhm.
business. I'm making this money, but I did not do it for brag. I give her money to her because she needed money to save the beauty salon, and I just give her money and never told her to pay me back. I thought she was my friend, but she hated me. Well, I mean, I know that she hated me, really hate, when she saw me pregnant and crying, and she knew I was eating dog food, and she just laughed in my face. Don't be so stupid. If I were you, I would kill myself today. She told me. She did it on purpose. That's what I'm telling you. When people are jealous of, and they will do hurt bad things to you because they're unhappy with their life. You know.
And you knew her for 3 years and she was friendly
She
with
did
you?
my hair every day. I'm actually today. I'm gonna post a picture of me 4 months before I got trapped. 4 months before dating this guy, I went to my
Hmm.
brother' wedding. I was there. Even though I already knew my traffickers, okay. Even though I didn't know I was trafficked, right? And they never show any signs. So I was the happiest girl. Like people can't understand how happy I was. My business was growing. I had everything I dreamed of. I made my dreams. I was healthy. I was working now. I look, I look how I look. I like how I look, and I was just ready for a relationship. I wanted to eat the world. Like I woke up every day with a smile, and ready. Like I was very happy person. I was helping everybody. That's why I give her money. And when I told them about my dreams and the things that I wanted to do, it was not to put them down. It was because I wanted to share my happiness. And she was like annoyed that she hated me. I never saw that. And I had I contacted someone one time, celebrity, and that person actually replied me back. That was before everything, and
Hmm.
I was there with that woman in beauty salon. I was saying, you know what? I just talking to the guy who
Hmm.
worked with Tom Cruise, and I was just like, they were like, I don't believe you that, but I showed the picture, and they were like, why you that you here and you live here? Who you think you are? You get that? Like, why we saw you with nothing, and now you have a
Hmm.
business, you know? So, I, it really hurt me knowing that she did that on purpose. Why? She knew what they do. She knew what was gonna happen to me. She did not mind. You know, that for me. That's worse than my traffickers. Like, how can you send someone to that? How can you live with that? Right?
And
It's
then
like
laugh
it.
at you while going through it. That's really, really messed up.
Yeah, people sometimes with their jealous. That's why I say that's when I understand how unhappy she was is when I was able to forgive. I forgive. I don't think, and she's alive. She's alive. Because police saying that she technically did nothing wrong. She just gave me a contact lawyer. And that was, cannot process someone for that. You know. I forgive her. I wish her the best. Like I don't feel anything with her. Like I forgive that she did that to me. That she gave me the contact and she took me there. But she took me there to the office. Not only gave me the contact, she took me there. And, hey, this is her. You know. Gee, I look so fat in this camera. This is what I'm thinking. I say,
You look fine.
I swear to God that I'm not that fat. Like, but for whatever reason, my face looks like. I was like, why the hell? That I don't look like. But I don't know. I was. I that was what I was talking to you, and sometimes I'm looking at my face like I don't have this, but whatever. I was like, whatever, you know.
You look fine.
Thank you, thank you. So yeah, like I say, uh, I hope that the whole thing can help people. That's what I want. I don't want
Mm,
attention. I don't want people to feel sorry about me. I don't want
mm-hmm.
people to think that no, 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 no. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like I want people to learn.
There's definitely a lot to learn too from this. A lot that I just learned too.
Yeah, and I want people to maybe open the idea that maybe miracles do happen. Like
Mm-hmm.
right, like people always so pessimistic. They just believe it. You know, like I believe miracles do happen now. I saw a lot of weird.
Say again.
I do believe miracles happen now, but I saw another thing that was maybe I know it's way, but I saw a lot of weird things, and I mean weird things like spooky things when I was trafficking, like things that you cannot explain, things
Mm-hmm.
that not only in a good way but in a bad way, things that I saw with my traffickers, and I was like, something in their eyes, things like that, kind of like I saw my traffickers with their eyes, and I was like, it's like if they were not talking to me for real. I'm not lying. They were talking to me. It's like if something was there. Like it's one of the most creepy things that I happened to me when they were really angry. The eyes. It's like,
As if they were possessed.
see, yeah, yeah, kind of like it was just like, and their voice changed it too. It was one of the most. I felt like I was talking with it. I didn't feel disgusted because I felt like it was not them. You know. And some things like when they were fighting, the doors was loud, and it was just like the whole environment was heavy. Like I feel bad for the poor people who rent the house apartments to all those people, because I'm pretty sure now those apartments probably ruin it forever. The whole energy, I don't know, you even when you breathe, you could feel like something heavy there when they were doing things to me.